Hey, everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank.
And I'm Dan.
And coming up today, we're going to talk about the role that religion plays or maybe doesn't play in politics.
Yeah, we're going to talk about how, you always hear about, candidates have to be religious or they're going to, we're going to dispel some myths and we're going to start some new ones.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we're going to.
Good.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
That's great. It's awesome.
In the meantime, however, we will before that, we're going to tell you a few stories and do some stuff and whatever. What do you got? You got something fun?
I've got a sexy story.
Ooh.
Got a story of sexual healing.
Meow.
In Arizona, of all
Okay.
places. Arizona never has really struck me as sexy.
It's not a sexy state.
Not a sexy state, is it?
No. It strikes me as dusty. It's a dusty state.
Well, nonetheless, Arizona was the home to a sexual healing little religious group called the Goddess Temple.
Oh.
Where members of the Goddess Temple, under the leadership of Tracy Elise,
Who is a woman?
who is a woman.
Okay.
A very
Tracy can go either way.
sensual woman.
Yeah.
The people would come into their temple and they would sexually heal them through sexual gratification. And the people who were healed would leave money.
Right.
And well, they're in court. Actually, it actually just got the case just got settled.
Oh, really?
Or not settled. They didn't settle the case, but a decision came forward. They have been found guilty of prostitution.
Oh,
Prostitution!
Come on.
No, Dan, this is sexual healing.
It's sex. Yeah.
Sexual healing.
I feel like if they had just called it. I mean, they're claiming some sort of religious affiliation, some sort of religious thing. Was that their defense?
That was her defense. Well, she kept trying to use that as a defense, and the judge wouldn't let her.
Well, she just set up her religion wrong. She needed a better lawyer to set things up. Because frankly, I think she could get away with it. I think if she had done it better, she could have gotten away with it.
Yeah, clearly. There was probably some weird line that they crossed with the way that the money was exchanged.
Yeah.
It seems like that's probably where they tripped up.
Right. Yes, in order to participate, our services are free, but in order to participate, you must be a member of our community, and that costs X amount of dollars.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or something. And
it sounds like it was a little bit more pay to play.
Right, exactly, yes.
But anyway, this group, I wish the pictures had printed with the story, but they didn't, because I would love to show you, Dan. They looked like they needed to be center camp.
I don't know. At Burning Man?
Yeah,
of course
just
did.
Holding a little sexual healing little session. They were very colorful, very bright.
Hippy dippy.
Super, super hippy dippy.
Yeah.
All women, but there was one guy right in the middle.
Oh, okay.
Who was doing some sexual healing of his own.
Does he heal men or women?
I don't know.
Or both?
Probably both. It sounds like they had both men and women come in.
I just pulled it up. I'm looking at, when you say colorful, it's a literal rainbow. They've got a woman in a red dress, a woman in an orange dress, a woman in a yellow dress, a green, a blue, indigo, violet. They've got the whole Roy G. Biv going on.
Yeah. Big, bright primary colors. And then, of course, in the background, I remember there being some hippy dippy shit, little...
Yeah, there's tie-dyed fabric hanging down and stuff. Here's the thing. I think that sexual healing could be a real thing.
Yes.
I
agree.
I don't disagree with this. Like, there are people who are so, and religion's a culprit in this.
Yeah.
But there are people who are fucked up sexually because they were told that it's bad and because of all of this stuff. And it would be nice to have someone who was sexually generous help them through their issues.
Yes.
I believe in that.
Well, I mean, it does exist in some ways. I don't know if you saw that Helen Hunt film.
Right.
I forget the title of the film.
Right.
But
I didn't see it, but
you didn't see it?
I remember seeing about it. And she was like a sexual therapist.
She was a sex therapist, yeah.
And those are real people, and they can have, I mean, like, there's sexual contact that goes on.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing. It's prostitution.
Right.
Except that it's therapeutic.
Except that it's therapeutic, and she's working with, toward very specific goals,
right,
with these people,
right.
I have a feeling this probably was sort of less sort of structured. Mm-hmm. In some sort of like,
and didn't have
medical,
didn't have any sort of research background. Or
No. And yeah, but the good thing about this is it didn't have Helen Hunt.
Right. That is the advantage to the goddess temple or whatever it is called.
She was nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
So although maybe she'll play the woman in the.
I'm looking at this
movie.
photo and I'm trying to imagine like which of these like women I would go to if I were to
be sexually healed.
And no.
None of them, right?
I don't really. There's one that might be kind of cute if she wasn't looking at me like she was the devil herself. I mean, it's not that I need cuteness even. It's just I'm actually just sort of going off of like what energy, but like I don't know. Like what not energy, what
really?
What vibe I'm getting off of them.
Yes.
I don't know, some of them look nice. They look nice.
Yeah, if you're into like frumpy middle-aged women. Yeah.
I don't know.
This is where I hate to say it, but this is where retired prostitutes go. Right?
Hey,
they're a little too old for the street, right?
Yeah.
And now they've found their calling.
Great.
It's terrible.
Who knows more about sex than a prostitute?
I don't know.
I don't know either. All right, I'm going to jump to
I feel like something didn't work there for me.
Okay. I'm going to jump to last Sunday was Oscar night.
Oh, that's true. Did you go to an Oscar party, Dan?
I had an Oscar party at my house for me and my wife.
Oh, that's boring.
It was just us.
Really?
We didn't invite you.
No, I wasn't invited, but I went to an Oscar party.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you go to which one?
Well, not.
Oh,
it wasn't
just a house
that
party.
Was like listed anywhere.
Not like the.
It was just over with some friends.
What gay group does the? I think Equality Utah does a.
No, it's the AIDS Foundation.
Okay,
because our friend who used to work there used to kind of help organize.
Okay,
it.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Anywho, no, I watched the Oscars though. Here's something. Do you remember what won Best Picture?
Best Picture. No, I think I had too many glasses of wine by that point.
It was shockingly for me. I tend to be very good at predicting Oscars.
Yeah.
It was Spotlight.
Oh,
this is the movie.
Really?
This is the movie starring Michael Keaton and Mark Buffalo and all of those people. About the Boston Globe's investigation into sex abuse by the Catholic priests.
Yeah.
And the cover-up thereof.
Yes.
And it's a damning film.
Right.
About a very important thing that actually happened.
Yeah.
So now the Catholic Church, Catholic mucky mucks are commenting about it.
Oh.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the plot twist. They like it.
What?
They're liking it.
Really?
Yeah. This like
that's
people at the Vatican. There was like
they had a screening
article in the L'Osservatore Romano, which is sort of like the Vatican's semi-official newspaper.
Okay.
That was like that basically said that the film had a good plot and should not be considered anti-Catholic. And like they were saying that it managed that it manages to voice the shock and profound pain of the faithful confronting the discovery of these horrendous realities.
Huh. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
I liked it. I don't think it deserved Best Picture.
So did it manage to contain all the whatever?
Did it manage to voice the shock and profound pain of the faithful confronting the discovery of these horrendous realities?
Yes, that's the one.
Yes, it did.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
I thought so. I thought the performances, I should say, are really strong.
Oh, okay.
I really enjoyed them. I just thought that the direction was needed to be tightened. It was it was a little bit. It was too long, and there was too much air in the middle of it. They needed to tighten it up.
Well, it's Best Picture is not a Best Director award. It's a Best Producer. It's a production award.
Right. Yeah, they needed to...
That was the best produced film.
No, it wasn't. But it did win that award. Anyway, not only that, a Boston Cardinal chimed in. Cardinal O'Malley.
Really?
Chimed in.
I have a hard time believing O'Malley's from Boston.
Yeah, I know, right? Where'd they get an Irishman? Weird. But he was all for it as well. He said, "Spotlight is an important film for all impacted by the tragedy of clergy sexual abuse." They seem to be almost acknowledging some stuff.
Yeah. Good for them.
Good for them.
Well done. I bet a nice little memo went out that said, guess what, everyone?
Here's what we're doing. We like this.
No matter whether you've seen it or not, liked it or not.
Right.
This is what you're going to say.
I don't care how uncomfortable this made you. We're happy about this.
Yes.
This is how we feel.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's a religious leader, Dan.
Okay.
Who...
I'm a religious leader?
No, here's one right here.
Oh, okay.
This is a story I'm going to. That maybe didn't have such good PR advice as the Catholics in this scenario. Here's the headline.
Yeah.
Mormon leader.
Okay.
We are not bigots because there are no homosexual members of the church. This from Elder David A. Bednar. He's one of the ones that came after I stopped affiliating with the LDS Church.
Yeah.
I don't know much about them.
He's a younger fella for them.
Yeah, so he's in his mid-60s.
Or late 50s maybe.
I think he was in his 50s when he got called.
Yeah,
but anyway, yeah.
For a Mormon leader, he's young.
So he the line that there are no homosexual members of the church. Boy, that's a good line.
Yeah,
it's a great line. It isn't exactly what he was saying, but he said it.
He did say that line,
and so he said that line while making a really dumb argument, which is the whole thing that it's kind of, they don't want to acknowledge that there are homosexual people. They want it just to be a condition. They want it to be a temptation. Right.
It's not that you one. Well, and of course he went on to say, because I saw this article too. He went on to say, we are not defined by our sexuality.
Right.
So
that's nice when you don't have to be defined because you're,
right. It's like a white person saying, "I don't see race."
Right.
Well, great for you.
I'm not defined by being white.
Right. Exactly. That's all fine and good, but you don't know that. But when you don't have to deal with the facts of being of a minority race or of a minority sexuality, it's super easy to say, "No, I'm beyond all that." I'm not defined by my sexuality.
Yeah, good for you. Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, you go ahead and define all these other people by their sexuality. You go ahead and
Well, it also struck me as strange because there was this whole Utah Compromise thing last year. Well, the LDS Church actually signed off on LGBT rights, in the workplace and for housing, right, for the state of Utah, right. And so it seems very strange and a little too convenient that they can do it. They've acknowledged that gay people are real.
Yes.
And then they have this asshat preaching that it's not real.
It's not. I mean, people feel those feelings. But that's not what defines them.
No.
What defines them is how much I hate them.
And how icky it is when I think about two men.
Ew.
I mean, two women.
Two women is hot. But you know what? But they're never the cute women.
It's never the ones you want to be having. Yeah. But
I feel like there needs to be a campaign of just hot lesbians for gay rights because all the old white men can totally get behind it. All the old white men be like, oh.
But they still have to confront the fact that guys have sex.
You just distract them from it. You don't make them confront it. You make them vote for lesbian rights.
Keep it way in the background.
Right, exactly. Look at all the gorgeous lesbians. Vote for their rights. And all these men would be like, oh, yeah, they need rights. Oh, totally. I got to get rights for her.
Oh, I'll vote for her rights.
Oh, she's got a nice set of rights over there.
Yeah.
Oh, she could put those rights on me anytime. Ta-da! Gay rights solved. I did it, Frank. Dan. I figured it out.
Good. You saw it here, everyone.
Yeah.
Dan just pulled off a miracle in his own mind.
Yeah.
He's a little distracted right now, everyone.
If your people would get on the ball about it.
Because I think you, as someone who already supports gay rights...
Yeah.
It's not bad for you either.
No.
Bunch of lesbians. No. Hot lesbians.
Hot lesbians? That's always going to do well. That's all that plays in Peoria. It always is going to do well. I'm going to take us to Harvard.
Oh.
It is a university. You may have heard of it. You may not have. They're famous for being pretty impressive with their academia and whatnot.
Sure.
They've announced a new free class that everyone can take.
Everyone?
It's a series of 6 classes, but it is about religious literacy.
Oh.
What they've discovered, and what we know, is that, strangely, people in the United States of America and beyond are largely dumb about religion. Really, really just completely uninformed about everything except their own religion. With the exception of us. Atheists tend to know a lot about religion.
No, it's weird.
But the rest of the country they're just big dumb idiots about it, and so which breeds bigotry and prejudice, and makes it so that people want to vote for Donald Trump when he says let's keep the Muslims out. So
not a bad idea.
Keeping the Muslims out? Just voting for Donald? I'm not sure where you're going with this.
Yeah. Keep them out. Sure, why not?
Yeah, right.
No, this is terrible.
Harvard's going to offer this thing online. You can learn, and I wanted to tell our listeners because I'm betting a whole bunch of them would be interested in this.
Yeah.
So you can go and you can. They anticipate up to 50,000 people will enroll.
Wow.
And yeah.
So
there you go.
Completely online, completely free.
I think it's free. I just saw a thing. I guess it's free if you don't want to get credit. If you want non-audit, if you want to get credit for it, you can pay $50.
So, like, if you were a student.
Yeah, this goes through their edX platform, which is an online learning platform that they launched with MIT back in 2012.
Okay. All right, gotcha.
And so yeah, look it up. Go learn about all the different religions and how they're all stupid in their own ways.
Yeah.
Dumb, dumb, dumb.
Yeah, well, I've got a story.
Yeah?
About some dumb religious folk.
Yeah.
Who they have 2 kids, and they found out while trying to get pregnant with a third that the mother, whose name is Lindsay Justice, has polycystic ovary syndrome, which can make it really difficult to conceive.
Sure.
Right? The husband was...
what with all the cysts?
Steve, I think. Steve Justice, yeah. So they were trying their darndest and finally turned to, what do you call those drugs? The fertility drugs. Right? To get her nice and ovulating like mad. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Just solve the whole problem with numbers. Right?
Sure.
And so she got pregnant.
Good. It's a start.
With 7 babies.
Holy Jesus.
Septuplets. Okay?
Wow.
And the doctors were like, we need to whittle this down. Okay? We need, they call it selective.
She doesn't want to be septomom?
Well, no. No, she wanted to.
The docs were saying abort a couple of these.
Yeah, selective reduction.
Okay.
Which
is just aborted.
Which is aborting, but it sounds nicer to conservative religious types.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But they saw through the tricky lingo.
Uh-oh.
And they were like, no, we will not have any of these babies aborted because this is God's will.
Uh-huh.
Right. And so she lost them all.
Oh, wow.
She went into labor way super early, like around the 20th week.
Oh, wow.
20th week or 21st week, something like that. I guess week 23 is sort of when...
viability
can occur. And so they were just trying their hardest to get to week 23. So basically, because they didn't listen to their doctors... they have no kids being born.
But at least they didn't... Well, I mean, technically, a miscarriage is an abortion. It's just one that's performed by the body instead of by an outside force.
Right.
So technically, they had 7 abortions. If they had just enacted a couple of them themselves... they would have had a kid or two, maybe.
I mean, the story is really sad. I watched the whole video.
It's a very sad story
of it, and I mean, it is sad. But I mean, this just goes down to like just blindly, like the fact that they were willing to say that the septuplets, having septuplets, this is God's will. After having taken fertility drugs,
right? After having subverted God's will in her not having any.
God's will was apparently your cystic little problem in your reproductive organs.
Well, technically, so
that's God's will.
I mean, God,
you weren't supposed to get pregnant, lady.
God is... I'm going to challenge you on this, because here we go. God is theoretically omnipotent and omniscient. So... he knows everything and he can do anything.
Right.
Which means that everything that happens is God's will. So her getting the polycystic things, that's God's will. Her living in a time when there are fertility drugs and taking them, that's God's will. Her having 7 fetuses, that's God's will. And then them all dying, apparently also God's will.
Right, but that's not how they parse it out.
No, that's not how it works. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's a goofball thing. Yeah.
Because one medical intervention, okay. The other medical intervention, not okay.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Be consistent, please.
Yeah, exactly. Right? If you're going to use modern medicine, use it.
Yes.
We know how things work a lot. Not all the way. We don't know all of the things. Yeah. But we know that carrying 7 children to term, while technically possible, is incredibly rare and almost never works.
Yeah.
And is
really risky.
And risky for the mother's health and for all of the baby's health. And they learned about that the hard way.
Yeah. So that's the story of Steve and Lindsay.
Justice.
Is
it Justice?
Justice.
Or Liberty? Freedom?
No,
I don't remember
Lindsay.
what their...
Justice.
Okay.
Their last name is Justice.
They could have named all the children like Liberty, Freedom.
Oh, no. No.
Well, did they have names picked out?
They had names picked out.
Oh, no.
You're going to love this, Dan. So 7 babies.
Yeah.
7 letters in the word Messiah.
Oh, no.
And so all the names started with a letter from the word Messiah.
Oh, of course they did.
There was Mercy.
Oh, my God.
Isaac actually died at 12 weeks.
Oh.
So when...
They already lost part of their Messiah?
Yeah.
And they didn't switch it up to Savior? Which is 6 letters?
And then down to Jesus.
Right.
And then down to...
Eventually it's just God.
Jesus. And then God.
Hopefully it stops there. Anyway.
Poor people. Yeah, Messiah.
Oh, there you go.
But they were... The 6 that were still being carried were all girls.
Oh, my God.
And they already had 2 girls.
Oh, wow.
So...
That would have been quite the family. That man, that father, would never have gotten to go to the bathroom ever again. As soon as they became like 12, he doesn't get to go to the bathroom ever. He would
just have to have his own restroom.
He would just have to build an outhouse for him.
No, just a very unappealing just toilet in a closet somewhere.
Anywho, I'm going to move on to... This is an interesting one, and I am not sure where I fall on this.
Ooh, fun!
We'll see what happens. I'm going to tell you the story of a decorated West Point graduate, an armyman by the name of Captain Simratpal Singh.
Okay.
A Sikh man. A man of the Sikh faith.
Okay.
Who is now suing the army.
Oh, okay.
Here's the problem. The Sikhs, they grow out their hair. Mm-hmm. They're not allowed to cut it, according to their faith. They wear the turbans up top to hide all of that long hair.
Yeah.
And because turbans have this sort of egalitarian thing going on. There's a whole reason for turbans, too.
Okay.
Anywho, the army basically says to him, we have to test extra your helmet, your gas mask, and stuff because the army doesn't allow beards and long hair, in part because gas masks don't fit properly. They don't create a good seal.
Oh, that makes sense.
On a beard and all of this stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, this ban on long hair and beards can't apply to a Sikh person. So it's like, what do we do? So they've been trying to specially test. He had to undergo 3 days of performance tests.
Okay.
Based on the fact that he has long hair and beard. Well, he's suing because he feels targeted for his religious beliefs.
Interesting. But their statement is that they're trying to figure out how to keep him safe. How he can use the army's...
Yeah, I mean, I guess to me,
gear?
It seems like what they're trying to do is just figure out if he can actually soldier. You know what I mean? Like if he can if he can do all the things that they need him to do out on the battlefield. So I don't know. I feel like the army should just be able to. I mean, yeah. He apparently he did shave and cut his hair as he rose through the ranks of the army. Like he used to do that.
Okay.
He joined the army in 2006. In 2015, he asked the army to let him begin growing his hair, and wearing and to let him wear the the outward symbols of his fath.
Sure.
And the army granted him a temporary accommodation, pending a permanent decision. It's a question here. There was back in the 80s, there was a case of a Jewish officer seeking to wear a yarmulke or a kippah that went all the way to the Supreme Court. So, So religious accommodations for uniforms are really rare.
Huh.
Even the Mormons. Did you know that Mormons have khaki garments for soldiers? Mormon garments, Mormon underwear garments are white.
Yes.
Universally, except for that.
Yeah, they have green ones.
They have green ones for the military.
Isn't that crazy? Well, what I would want to know is surely somewhere in the world where there are more Sikhs, they must have figured out the whole gas mask situation, right? Like, don't you think?
I don't know. How do you create a seal, an airtight seal with hair in the way?
Maybe at the base of your neck.
You could go all the way over the whole head. Sure. Unless the guy's Greek or Italian and he's just got hair that goes from the chest straight up, and probably from the back straight up too.
Oh God, yeah, that's true. I don't know how to.
It's an intractable problem.
Yeah. Maybe they could just put it like a tube in their mouth and pinch their nose and breathe through that.
Or just realize that yes, you can choose. You can have your religion and possibly die of some horrible gas,
right?
Or you can have your gas mask work.
It's just a design issue. They just need to design something that works for Sikhs.
He just needs a full body gas mask.
Well, I just described one. You put a fucking tube in your mouth.
I want a full body one
piece. Yeah, I hear you. You want like a hazmat?
Yeah,
suit?
I want him to have to soldier in basically the E.T. costume. the bad guys in the E.T. show.
No.
Full on hazmat.
No, that's not necessary.
All right. Well, There you go. If you have any comments or questions or things that you'd like to say to us, ladies and gentlemen, you can write to us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can leave a voicemail message.
Yeah.
The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
We love it when you do that. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
And while on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge. It's a closed group, so you have to request to join.
It's secret.
And then we let you in.
It's sacred.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. Dan?
Yeah, we'll listen to something.
This is Pat Robertson.
Patty boy!
And he's got some information about his show that I wish we could share. Like, there's real power in his show that it's so powerful. It has such far-reaching healing powers.
Well, let him tell us.
Okay.
I want to hear.
This first one comes from Dana, who says, I have to work daily, even though I'm very sick, so I DVR every episode of the 700 Club. I pray with you on each of the healings, although I'm not watching live. Is it still possible for me to receive healing when I'm not praying for the miracle live?
Tell you a story, but it's kind of a fun thing. Somebody was watching our program on tape. They were in Florida, we were in Virginia. The show had been taped a week before, and I was praying. Someone was watching, and I said, there's somebody that has a bad knee, and the Lord is healing it. I believe it's the right knee. This woman said to the tape, no, dummy, it's the left knee. At that time, I said on the tape, no, it is the left knee. And the woman got healed.
Wow.
So, listen, and we've had things in Africa take place where the Spirit of God rebuked demon spirits and drove them out of a house. It's unbelievable what goes on. Mm-hmm. The power of God is not limited. So, tape, I mean, God's infinite. Okay.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Oh, it is. It's truly unbelievable.
It's literally unbelievable. What happens?
He nailed it. I agree with him. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, time. Oh. God doesn't operate on your linear time frame.
We have such a limited understanding of God's power. Of the realm that he exists in.
He's a retroactive God.
He has full. He is God of the space-time continuum, just as much as he is the God of Earth.
He's God of the future.
Yeah,
he's God of the past.
Yes,
he's equally neglectful in all the ways at all the times.
Yeah, works in all the
I remember when I was still religious and I had. Like, I was in high school and I was just learning about like physics and space-time and all of that sort of stuff. And I was still making things work. I was still making science and religion work together. So every new piece of information, I was like, oh, wow, how does that fit in with the God thing? And I had this whole theory about how cool God was because God existed at all times and he could just sort of pop into any time and do stuff, but he knew what was happening in the future and he knew what was, and I was super excited about that. And now I was like, oh, that's just not possible.
That's dumb.
Well, what do you want to talk about? We're going to talk about a thing here.
Well, first, Dan, I want to thank some people.
Yeah, and I got some emails and stuff. We should do
Patreon
those
has it continues to plug away.
Oh, hooray!
It's marching forth
onward
in
Christian
support
soldiers
of the show.
Sure.
Let's see. I think I need to thank everybody from the month of February.
Oh boy, we are remiss, ladies and gentlemen.
That feels right.
We are desperately remiss.
Yeah. Paul. We need to thank Paul, Vernon, Gary. Waiting for Wrath.
Oh,
whatever that is.
That's a podcast.
It's a podcast.
Yeah,
they support us.
They actually, they had me come on.
Oh, no way.
Show. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Revels.
Without a cause.
No. David, Brian, and Darth Revan.
Okay.
Yeah. The Dark Lord of the Sith.
Oh, that's nice.
That is nice.
It's good to get a Darth every now and then.
Yes, indeed.
One.
Thank you, everybody. If you would also like to support us on Patreon.
No, wait. I'm going to add to that because we also got a one-time donation from Shane.
Oh, wonderful.
For $6.66.
Well, wonderful. And if you'd like to become a supporter of the show, you can do so by going to thankgodimatheist.com and looking for the support stuff. There's a Patreon thing, but you can just go to the support tab as well.
Yeah, if you go to our Patreon, if you contribute to our Patreon campaign, that's probably the most helpful thing you can do.
Yes,
and you'll be part of a community there. It's actually really cool over there.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
So yeah, do that. We had some folks write into us. Mm-hmm. Taylor wrote in, "Hi, Frank and Dan and Mark," because Mark is an increasingly
sometimes Mark. He's like Y,
and sometimes Mark.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. AEIO, Frank and Dan, and sometimes Mark. Taylor from Florida here again. Let me begin by telling you that Mark is like the favorite babysitter or substitute teacher who gives us candy and lets us watch cartoons.
Well, are we like the strict disciplinarians?
Yeah, we're the asshole regular teacher.
Oh, man. And the parents.
Yeah. Taylor says, so glad when he fills in for one of you so regularly. The purpose of my letter is to comment on Frank and Mark's discussion about the Girl Scouts.
Oh, yeah.
I was in scouting through elementary school. I wasn't terrific at the camping thing, but I could sell Thin Mints with the best of them. It was through the Girl Scouts that I learned about, quote, progressive topics like women in business, menstruation, sexuality, and personal autonomy. Huh. These subjects and more helped me transition into my teenage years and puberty with confidence and maturity. And I'm incredibly grateful for how the Girl Scouts prepared me for young adulthood. These are the lessons the Catholic Church deems incompatible with their values. They're right. Their stance on reproductive health and entrepreneurism is light years ahead of the misogynistic anti-women Catholic Church. I didn't need a new reason to support the Girl Scouts of America, nor did I need another reason to buy 20 boxes of Girl Scout cookies every cookie season. But thank you, Archbishop, for reminding me how important it is to support my Girl Scout troop.
Wonderful.
Yes. She says she sure appreciates it, and we should keep up our terrific work.
And apparently, I saw an article. I didn't read it. Just saw the headline. It was enough for me.
Yeah.
That cookie sales in Missouri are like through the roof.
Nice.
Like, so there's been some backlash.
Yeah.
To the
some delicious,
the Archbishop.
Sweet, crunchy little backlash.
Yeah. So the public has come out in full force support of the Girl Scouts.
Right.
Which is fantastic.
I saw a tweet or something. Somebody had reposted something that said, "How many of these Thin Mints do I have to eat before they start working?" I thought that was very clever.
Huh. All right.
They don't apparently actually make you thin, it seems.
But they'll make you minty.
They will make you minty. Tim wrote into us about the same topic. Having been very involved in both programs, he says, I heartily agree with Mark and Frank's assessment on the latest show. It is possible to love the Boy Scouts and hate the BSA, but I can wholeheartedly support the GSA. My daughter, now in grad school, has been in scouting since second grade, and I can tell you that it is at the core of her life. The strengths, skills, confidence, and friends that she developed will stay with her for a lifetime. The program is positive and accepting of all who identify as a girl, regardless of beliefs or sexual orientation, or, and this is Dan adding this, or assigned birth assigned gender.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. They are down with the trans kids.
Well,
so that's cool. They are only intolerant of those who would body shame another girl. I know many women in their 50s and 60s for whom scouting was their only chance to be truly themselves, and they are passionate about the program to this day.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. You know, I used to make fun of the Girl Scouts when I was a younger and stupider person, in part because like I used to go like with Boy Scouts, I did some awesome, incredible like big trips and like camping and just really amazing stuff. And my sister, like all I saw of what she got out of Girl Scouts was like they made puppets,
right? And
it seemed really dumb to me. Well, now I realize they were doing very important work.
Yeah, I mean, also, you grew up in a misogynistic culture where that's what you do is you make fun of anything that the girls are doing.
Yeah, girls are dumb.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
obviously.
It makes it very easy and sort of obvious that what they're doing isn't as cool as what the boys, or as important as what the boys are doing.
Yeah, that's true.
That's just my own personal take on what was happening with young Dan,
on life here in in Utah. Yeah. Hey, here's a thing. I don't know if you know this, Franklin.
Yes.
There is a presidential campaign happening right now.
I think I've heard something about this.
There are people vying to be president of these United States.
Why? I do not know. Why would you want that job?
Well, I'm guessing that the answer would be different for different people.
What?
I'm guessing that for a lot of them, it's because they want to shape policy and whatever.
Right.
For at least one of them, it's just because it seems cool. I can't imagine why Donald Trump would want to be president, but he
wants his name on one more thing.
Yeah, exactly. He wants the word Trump to be on the White House.
Yeah. Believe me, he'll pay for it.
He will. Sure. He'd be happy to.
Yeah.
And he'll have it. He'll also, it'll be the Gold House now.
Just gild the whole thing.
Can
you imagine the redecorating that could happen under his...
Yeah. Gold toilets.
Oh.
Gold desk in the Oval Office.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
It would just be terrible. It would be like Idiocracy.
It's going to be the most gold room you've ever seen in your life. It's going to be the class.
best.
It's the best. It's the classiest White House we've ever had. It's not a Trump impression so much as it is an impression of like an idea of an impression.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can't do Trump. One of the things I wanted to talk about, though, because you and I have talked about this, Frank, we've talked about the idea that Americans want their leaders to be religious.
Yes, it's very important.
They don't trust somebody who doesn't believe in Jeebus.
Well,
Or doesn't believe in a god.
Yeah.
Anyway, religion seems to be, every time they poll Americans, religion seems to be very important to them. To the point where just over half of the people polled, there was a new Pew poll that came out.
Oh, yeah.
And it had some interesting things to say. What's not interesting, or rather what's not new, is that most people say that believing in God, they would be less likely to vote for a candidate if they knew the person to be a non-believer.
Right.
So that's 51% of the populace say if they knew the person was a non-believer, they would be less likely to vote for them. That's more toxic than being gay.
Wow.
For a candidate.
Wow.
It's the single biggest liability a candidate could have.
Did Pew go into whether these numbers have moved at all? Because I'm surprised.
They have moved.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an improvement over time.
Okay, good.
For our side, but it's still the majority of people in the country. Here's the trick, though. That's when you just ask it in general.
Right.
When it's a conceptual, an idea, that's how people fall.
Right.
However, the newest thing is that because I think everybody's sort of caught on to the fact that Trump and Sanders, these are not religious men.
No.
I think everybody has sort of caught on to that. Every time Trump tries to be religious, he fails.
Yeah.
He fails in some way.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to refer to books in the Bible.
Right. He throws money into the wrong plate.
Right. Somebody asked him if he had repented for his sins, and he said no.
I hadn't heard that one.
Yeah, he basically said, no, I don't know what that is. I mean, this was before the campaign really got started. But I mean, like, he doesn't know anything.
A man who's got copious sins.
Not in his mind.
Well, no, but I know. But like, this guy has sinned.
Right.
In sort of the Christian perspective, the conservative Christian perspective. This man is a sinner.
Yeah, well beyond just the we're all born sinners idea. He
has embraced sin.
He loves sin.
These are his favorite things.
I mean, psychopathy doesn't allow for his own. I mean, his own person. He can't sin in his own mind. But
so why would he repent?
Right. So here's
somebody needs to give him the right answer to that question.
So here's what's really interesting here. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Although every time he fucks up, it helps him. I don't know how it works. He's campaigning backwards.
Yeah.
He's just writing. Yeah, he's riding a unicycle backwards into the White House. But he basically So here's what's interesting, though. As we know, he's the front runner on the Republican side by a long shot. So there's a disconnect. There's a problem there. And here's what Pew has found out. Fewer than half, so 44% of Republicans believe that fewer than half of them believe that he's somewhat or very religious.
Right.
They believe that he is below somewhat religious.
Right.
So that's a big deal. This is Republicans. This isn't the general populace.
Yeah.
But
yet these people are delusional, by the way.
Well,
but nonetheless.
Yet but he's still the front runner.
I know.
Almost a third of his fans think he is not religious and like him anyway.
Right.
So
and these are religious folk.
So
suppose it, right. We can assume.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Even among evangelicals, his non-religious nature is not a problem for them.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, this highlights a problem with a lot of these polls about would you vote for, a gay person or an atheist? Like, which one, and when it's a hypothetical, you just get to imagine your worst case scenario.
Right.
Christopher Hitchens has returned from the dead and is running for president.
Right.
Right. Like, no.
Yeah. I definitely would never vote for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
as soon
when
as
it's somebody who you've already seen on reality TV a lot, you never actually really thought whether he's religious or not, and he comes along and people start pointing it out,
and he starts to say stuff that you like, that you connect with. He starts to talk in a way that you've always wanted to hear a politician talk.
Right.
Suddenly,
you just put up with the fact.
You don't care.
Yeah.
Suddenly, the rubber... Yeah, as soon as you're confronted with, like, an actual real-life example that you like...
Right.
All those ideals just go straight out the window.
Yeah.
Oh, all of that very, very important emphasis on religiosity...
Right.
...suddenly matters not at all.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's not weird. It's not weird.
Well, it's not weird. That's what's weird. What's weird is there's nothing weird about this because religious ideals are really important until they're not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's why the Republican Party was willing to get behind Mitt Romney.
Right.
I mean, probably more abhorrent to be a Mormon to a lot of these people than to be a nominal believer of sorts.
Well, it should be kind of scary because Mormons are such a top-down religion that our president... if he were elected, would have a boss, would have somebody who could theoretically tell him what to do.
Yeah. Or else he doesn't get to go into the temple.
Theoretically.
Right.
Yeah. Or they can, he's got someone who could threaten him with eternal consequences if he doesn't do X, Y, or Z.
Yeah, exactly. But
that's not to say that he would necessarily obey that.
Right. But nonetheless, they got behind him.
Right.
Right. Albeit not really terribly excited,
enthusiastically. They're like, okay, we'll just choose this cardboard cutout as our candidate, I guess. He's better than the rest of them.
Yeah. And they definitely don't have a cardboard cutout this go around.
Nope, nobody's cardboard in this round.
They have a personality that they can really genuinely like.
Ben Carson might have been a cardboard cutout. I'm not sure. He didn't seem to actually be awake the entire time he was. Anytime I've seen him.
Yeah, he was a disaster. Like, he was just a mess. That wasn't going to go anywhere. That much was clear.
No, but I liked it. I enjoyed every minute of Ben Carson's candidacy. He has dropped out, right?
He has. It's official.
Yeah.
This whole thing, Dan, it's perplexing.
But I mean, I think that it speaks to what religion really is. Religion is it's this set of ideals and standards that only matter when it's convenient. And that's how it should be. The truth is that's correct. But it's and what happens when someone actually takes their religious ideals and principles seriously is that we call them a fundamentalist and they're crazy.
Yeah.
The people who are real, quote unquote, I mean, like, who are genuine Christians or genuine Muslims who live up to the ideals laid out for them in their books.
Yeah.
They murder people. They're awful.
Right. And you should be terrified of those people as candidates.
Yeah.
Those are the people you should be afraid of.
Those are the people who are guaranteed to be bad candidates.
Yeah.
Because they have this other thing guiding their lives that's not in the best interests of our country.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so I guess the truth is this is good news because what we
good
want
about the public, not good about the Donald.
Oh, no. No one should ever vote for Donald Trump for anything. I wouldn't vote for Donald Trump to be president of his own reality show. That guy is poison. But it points out a very interesting phenomenon. I think that suddenly I'm realizing it's a very good thing that religious people can be trusted not to be really that religious. When push comes to actual shove, It's the same thing with the gays. We were talking about this earlier. The fact that everybody can be so foursquare against homosexuals, and then eventually their nephew is gay.
Someone you love.
Their son is gay. And they go through a really horrible process of like, I don't know what to do.
Right.
And for the most part, not always, but for the most part, people tend to go, oh, shit, well, I love him anyway. And it becomes a different thing. And that's why attitudes are rapidly changing about gay people. And, this is just how it works.
Right.
And then eventually the religion changes. And suddenly the religion was always pro-gay. I don't know what you're talking about. We've always been, we had some weird policies back in the past, but Jesus was all about gay people.
Right. Jesus wasn't homophobic.
Right, exactly.
It just wasn't the right time for the church.
They didn't,
It just wasn't, the people, the members, the Mormons themselves were not ready.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And
that's how it works.
Right. Yeah, ask any black man with the priesthood. The society wasn't ready yet.
No, it needed time to grow and to
marinate.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and so we'll see how these issues shake out. But yeah,
it's
going to be interesting to see what
thing.
happens with Mitt Romney. I know weren't going to really talk about it, but he's up to something.
Yeah, the day that we're recording this. Right now, as we speak, Mitt Romney was in a building like an hour and a half ago or something, giving a speech in which he trounced Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Like, he's taking the role of elder statesman of the Republican Party sort of thing.
Right. Yeah.
And just basically saying, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Are you insane?
Well, they need some leadership.
Yeah.
It's actually probably a very important thing that Mitt Romney has done.
Yeah.
Is to just stand up as somebody who once had the podium for that party.
Right. Who knows how this all works.
Season.
He's seen it all before.
Right. And so he was able to get everybody's attention. I heard about it. I mean, the thing was still going on.
Yeah.
And NPR already had a clip that they were airing from it.
Yeah, I looked it up and it was all over the news. So I assume that by the time anybody hears this, they will have heard about this thing happening.
And because of when we're recording, we don't know yet how this whole thing's going to shake down.
Right.
So we decided not to really talk about it too much.
Yeah, because we don't know the aftermath.
Fascinating.
It's going to be interesting to watch. Here's what I will guarantee, though. I don't know how everything's going to shake down, but I guarantee that Mormons are going to be still hopeful that he's going to somehow magically enter the race. They already are. They believe that. There's conspiracy theories out there already that have been going around for forever.
Right.
And now everybody's going to be talking about brokered conventions. And
he has to swoop in and save the Constitution of the United States. That's what the Mormons are supposed to do.
Right. Yes.
And Mitt Romney, Mitt Candidate is what I almost called him.
Mitt Candidate. Hello, I'm Mitt Candidate.
Mitt Romney is their best candidate for that.
I mean, he would probably do better than any of the guys that they've got running.
Oh,
in a general
at this
election.
Point, considering what the Republican Party has been able to present as their best and brightest for the presidency. I'm all for Mitt Romney getting in.
Yeah,
but but he can't. Of course, who I'd rather have as president.
Right, he can't be on the ballots in any of the primaries. So the only chance is a brokered convention, and that's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
but there are Mormons who hope.
But I would say, Dan, the one thing that we've learned, hopefully, from this presidential election season, watching the Republicans, is that anything can happen.
Well,
this year, say,
boy,
that's never going to happen. You can't say it.
No, because who the fuck knows now?
No,
the entire country is just it's a mystery to me now.
Well,
I had it all figured out.
Well, and
I knew exactly what was going to be happening in this election a year and a half ago.
Right.
And then everything went totally slaunch-wise, and it's crazy out there, and I don't know what anything is.
There is hysteria in the streets. If you were a political pundit, you were running around with your hair on fire.
Yeah, nobody knows what's going on. Yeah, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Yeah, it's absolute mess. So anyway, it's going to be fun to watch.
It is fun to watch.
How it all...
I've always wanted to see an Armageddon, and here it is happening right before our eyes. Well, kids, if you want to chime in on any of this, please do. You can write to us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can call and leave a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yes, indeedy. Go to the Facebook page if you want to. That's facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
And while on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join.
Right.
It is a closed group, so we have to let you in.
Yeah.
Be patient. Eventually...
we get to you.
Yeah.
Yep.
It happens.
Hopefully. We had somebody write in today who apparently they were like, I haven't been let in, and I went and looked for his name, and he wasn't there. So if you haven't been let in for a while, go and
request again.
Re-request. Facebook may have done something screwy.
And send a message. If you're having to re-request, it's smart probably just to send a message.
Yeah, send us a note. That'll be fine. Hey, we love you, everybody. We want to thank the Red Rock Hot Club for the use of their fine gypsy jazz music.
And thanks to Mackenzie for all the help on Facebook.
Oh, she's an amazing person. And thank you, our dearest listener, for tuning in.
Bye.